Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning. We are from group 6. We choose a Tilapia fillet for our group title. Critical control point is a systematic approach to food safety and to prevent, eliminate or reduce a significant hazard to an acceptable level. The first item for identify critical control point in tilapia fillet is storage of raw materials that receive from suppliers. Second, thawing process must be done under controlled condition to prevent the growth of bacteria. In filleting process, ensure that proper hygiene and sanitation practice are followed to prevent contamination from pathogens. Then ensure that the fillets are cooked to appropriate temperature 74 degrees Celsius to kill any harmful bacteria. Next, ensure that the fillet are rapidly cooled to below 4 degrees Celsius within 4 hours. For packaging, ensure that the packaging materials are food grade and done under hygienic condition. Last process is ensure that the fillet are properly stored in refrigerated storage condition below 4 degrees Celsius to prevent bacteria growth. That's all. Thank you for me.
To ensure that the tilapia fillet product is safe for consumption, the following steps need to be taken during production. First, identify the CCPs in the production process. Second, establish critical limit for each CCP. These include temperature, time, and other parameters that must be met to ensure food safety. Third, implement monitoring procedures to ensure the critical limits are met at each CCP. Fourth, establish corrective action to be taken if a critical limit is not met. This include identifying the cause of the deviation, taking steps to correct it, and documenting the action taken. Fifth, implement record keeping procedure to document the monitoring and corrective action taken. And the last, establish a verification process to ensure that the HACCP system is working effectively. This includes regular review of the CCPs, critical limits, monitoring procedures, corrective actions, and record keeping procedures. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so for my part is 7 HACCP. For the first is conduct a hazard analysis for each product. First is biological hazard. This is caused by harmful microorganisms such as bacteria, virus, and parasite. Biological hazard associated include Salmonella, Vibrio, Listeria, and E. coli. And then chemical hazard. Chemical hazard associated with fillet tilapia may include heavy metals such as mercury, cadmium, as well as pesticide and food additive. Next, physical hazard. Physical hazard associated with fillet tilapia may include bone, scale, and other debris that could cause injury. Next is identify critical control point. First is receiving and storage of raw material. The quality and safety of the raw material such as tilapia fish is critical in ensuring the safety of the final product. Next, transportation and storage finished product. Finished product is the transport and store at the proper temperature. And then cleaning and sanitation. Proper cleaning and sanitation of equipment, surface, and utensils are essential to prevent contamination. Next is establish critical limit. First is temperature. Temperature should be maintained at 4 Fahrenheit or below to prevent bacteria grow. Next, time. Cooked fillet should be cooled to 40 Fahrenheit below within 4 hours to prevent the growth of the bacteria. pH level. A pH of the less than 4.6 can prevent the growth of many bacterial pathogen. And the last is packaging. Use of the specific packaging material and application of vacuum or modified atmosphere packaging. And the last is establish CCP monitoring requirement. First is receiving and storage of raw material. The temperature of raw material should be monitored upon receipt and during storage. Next, processing and packaging. Packaging and cooling temperature as well as cooking and cooling time should be monitored. And then cleaning and sanitation. Monitor by conducting swab tests to detect the presence of the bacteria on the surface and equipment. And the last is transportation and storage of finished product. The temperature of the finished product should be monitored during transportation and storage to ensure it remains at the appropriate temperature. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Okay, next is establish corrective action when critical limits have been exceeded. Corrective action are the procedures that must be taken when critical limits are not met at any of the CCPs in the HACCP system. These actions are designed to bring the process back under control and prevent potentially hazardous food from being produced. Next is establish verification procedures. Develop procedures to verify that the HACCP system is working effectively. Verification procedures are an essential component of the HACCP system as they help to ensure that the system is working effectively to prevent hazard and ensure food safety. Identify the verification activities that need to be carried out to ensure that the HACCP system is working effectively. This may include reviewing records, conducting inspection and audit, testing food sample, and evaluation the effectiveness of the corrective action taken. The last one is establish record keeping and documentation procedures. Maintain records of all HACCP activities including hazard analysis, CCPS monitoring procedures, corrective action and verification procedures. Identify the type of records and documents that need to be maintained as part of the HACCP system. This should include records of the hazard analysis, critical control points, monitoring procedures, corrective action, and verification procedures. That's all from me.
I will explain about 12 steps to implement HACCP. First, assemble HACCP team, which is step to properly train and execute the HACCP team for fish fillet product. Include hazard identification, critical points, monitoring technique, critical limits, corrective actions, and HACCP team training. This can boost the standing of the brand client confidence and competitiveness. Second, describe product. As a consequence of its meat flavor and delicate texture, tilapia fillet is a common element in many different cuisines. It is a nutritious and long-lasting source of protein since it is a good source of lean protein and contains vitamins and minerals. Identify intended use, which is a common marine product utilized as a culinary ingredient for human consumption, is tilapia fillet. It is a source of protein and important nutrients, which makes it a wholesome and nourishing meal choice. Next slide shows us about the flow of the process of tilapia fillet. Firstly, harvesting. Second, cleaning and scaling. Third, gutting. Fourth, filleting. Fifth, trimming. Sixth, washing. 7, chilling. 8, packaging. 9, storage. 10, distribution. And the last is cooking. Next, on-site confirmation of the flow diagram. The HACCP process includes a physical inspection of the production facility and the production process as part of the on-site confirmation of the flow diagram. This ensures
that the flow diagram accurately depicts the actual production process and that the right CCPs are identified to control hazard associated with the production process. Next, list hazard associated with each step of Principle 1 in order to identify potential risks connected to each stage of the production process for Tilapia fillet. Principle 1 of HACCP call for undertaking a hazard analysis. These risks include physical dangers like foreign object, biological danger like parasite, germs, and virus in washing, deburning, cutting, trimming, packaging, and storage, and transportation dangers. To identify all potential risks and implement effective control measure, a complete hazard analysis should be performed.
In order to prevent, remove, or reduce a risk to acceptable levels for food safety, it is necessary to apply control at a step known as a critical control point. To guarantee that food safety is effectively managed, CCP must be determined correctly. The complexity of the process and the scope of the study, for instance, whether there are a limited number or various types of hazards, will determine how many CCPs are present in a process. Next, principle of number 8. Critical limits are the levels that must be attained as critical control points (CCPs) in order to guarantee the safety of food. As stated in Principle 4, these crucial limitations must be observed at CCPs. If their values are not consistently met, then Principles 5 specified corrective action must be taken. For principle number 9, in order to make sure that the critical limits are consistently attained, monitoring attains a planned series of measurements or observation at crucial control points. Monitoring's main goals are to ensure that the important limits are consistently made and to identify any loss of control so that appropriate corrective action can be taken. Principle number 10. To handle circumstances where critical limits at a critical control point (CCP) are not fulfilled during the monitoring process, deviation procedures are put in place for the sake of protecting consumers from potential injury. Deviation from critical limits must be immediately addressed as they can raise the likelihood of food safety issues. A HACCP program can assist ensure that deviations from critical limits are swiftly discovered and remedied by setting up clear and efficient deviation procedures, so reducing possible risks to consumer safety and ensuring food safety. Next, for principle 11, verification methods are implemented to make sure that the critical limits are being fulfilled, the monitoring procedures are effective, and the corrective action are preventing additional non-compliance. A HACCP program can assist in reducing the risk of potential food safety risks and helping to ensure the continued efficiency of the food safety management system by developing efficient verification methods. Number 12. To guarantee the efficiency of the HACCP program and to prove conformity with regulatory requirements, precise and thorough record keeping is essential. Food manufacturers may make sure that have a thorough system in place to control possible food safety hazards and to show compliance with regulatory requirements by implementing efficient record keeping and documentation procedures for each of the HACCP program's principles.